Namaskar, good morning, Swagatam. Honorable Minister of State of HRD, Srimati D. Purandeswari, Professor M.S. Swaminathan, Honorable Member of the Rajya Sabha, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Indira Gandhi National Open University, Professor V.N. Rajashekharan Pillai, Vice Chancellors, members and former members of the Boards of Management, distinguished invitees, faculty members, respected members of the press and the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege in requesting our distinguished dignitaries on the stage to kindly light the traditional lamp and formally inaugurate our function, please. Thank you very much, Honourable Minister of State HRD, Srimati D. Purandeswari, for lighting our beautiful lamp. Thank you very much, Professor M.S. Swaminathan, Honourable Member of the Rajya Sabha. And thank you very much, Honourable Vice Chancellor of Indira Gandhi National Open University. It is my privilege in welcoming you to launch the Community College Scheme by the Indira Gandhi National Open University on the occasion of the 100th meeting of the Board of Management of the University. As it is well known that the Board of Management is the principal executive body of the university. Since the inception of the university in 1985, the board has been meeting quite regularly and guiding the university. It is appropriate that whilst the university is entering the 25th year of existence, next year it is commemorating its 100th meeting of the board and honouring its former and present board members. The Vice Chancellor has considered it appropriate that an important new initiative in the university of partnering with community colleges is inaugurated on this occasion. As the community college is now seen as an innovative educational alternative rooted in the community, providing skill-based, livelihood-enhancing education and eligibility for employment to the disadvantaged and underprivileged like the urban poor, the rural poor, tribal poor, and women. Appropriate skill development leading to gainful employment in collaboration with the local industries and the community is a major target of the community colleges. However, lack of recognition has been a major problem by those who passed out from the community colleges. This new initiative of IGNOU will bring the students who passed out from these colleges into the mainstream of the higher education system. I take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to now invite the Honourable Vice Chancellor of the University, Vice Chancellor Professor V.N. Rajashekharan Pillai, to welcome the guests and say a few words about the scheme of community colleges, please.
Honourable Srimati D. Purandeswari, Minister of State for HRD, Government of India, Professor M.S. Swaminathan, Distinguished Agricultural Scientist and Member Rajya Sabha, Pro-Vice Chancellors, members of the Board of Management and other statutory authorities of the University, principals and representatives of the community colleges across the country, members of the teaching and non-teaching faculty of Indira Gandhi National Open University, dear students, distinguished invitees, friends from the printed and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. I am glad to welcome you all to the national launch of the community colleges on the occasion of the 100th meeting of the Board of Management of Indira Gandhi National Open University. This new scheme, introduced by Indira Gandhi National Open University, is intended to provide flexible, skill-oriented vocational education linked with school education and higher education. Even though community colleges of different structures were existing in the country, there has not been a national attempt to institutionalize them by linking them to the collegiate and higher education system. This newly proposed 2-year associate degree program of IGNOU is offered mainly under a public-private participation model, wherein IGNOU and the open university system in the country providing the curriculum, content, teacher training, regulatory and accreditation framework, and the sponsoring institutions, the community college institutions, taking care of the infrastructure and all other administrative and financial logistics. The Communities College Scheme has been recommended in the National Education Policy of 1986, the University Grants Commission committees, the National Knowledge Commission, and the Planning Commission as a scheme of the higher education during the 11th plan. The Honourable Minister is launching this national scheme of 2-year associate degree of IGNOU on the occasion of university's 100th meeting of the Board of Management. This university, established in 1985, founded by Rajiv Gandhi, Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, on 19th November 1985, the birth anniversary of Srimati Indira Gandhi, is a success story in democratization of education and training, particularly to the disadvantaged sections of the society. And this new scheme, in order for us to complete in the global knowledge economy, expansion, excellence, and inclusion in all sectors of education are necessary. Adequate emphasis on quality education and vocational training needs to be given. There is a growing concern today that our education system is not fulfilling its role of building a pool of skilled and job-ready human resource. There is a mismatch between the skill requirements of the market and the skill base of the job seekers. Institutionalization of community colleges and mainstreaming them would be a major step in this direction. The National Knowledge Commission has recommended integration of the community college linked vocational education into selected affiliated colleges. The rationale behind this recommendation is that these colleges could provide both vocational education through a 2-year associate degree program and formal higher education through the regular 3-year program. This would serve the needs of a particular segment of the student population later. They could focus on promoting job-oriented, work-related, skill-based, and life-coping education. India has the largest youth population in the whole world. Only 5% of the Indian labor force in the age group 20-24 have obtained vocational skills through formal means. This is in contrast to 60 to 65% in industrialized developed countries. Only 2.5 million vocational training seats are available, whereas 13 million enter the labor market every year. Largest share of new jobs are likely to come from the unorganized sector, which employs up to 93% of the national workforce. The nature of the workplace is rapidly changing. For any worker, the job profile is changing at least 5 times in the working life. Under such circumstances, there has to be open and flexible mechanisms for providing knowledge, skills, and lifelong training to people in all stratas of the society. That is where the roles of community colleges are going to be important. IGNOU's strength are its effective interactions with panchayats, districts, state, national, governmental, and non-governmental organizations within and outside the country. It has the largest repository of learning and teaching materials in the printed, multimedia, and electronic format. The university has its presence worldwide, countrywide, and worldwide. It has the largest network of teachers, full-time and part-time. It uses all technologies, including satellite technology, for education, training, and capacity building at all levels. The university has an extensive network of work and training centers across the country. Its modular approach of teaching and learning provides flexibility and diversity. There is scope for lateral and vertical mobility. These attributes of IGNOU suit well with the requirements of institutionalizing community college system in the country. Education and training in our country need to respond to realities of globalization. We are expecting that the new community colleges of IGNOU to prepare the learners to succeed in an environment in which the government policies and the new technologies have expanded employment and training opportunities beyond our national borders. Let us take this as a grassroots movement to strengthen the education, the empowerment of the community through education. Once again, welcome and best wishes to this very important function. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your welcome address. Indira Gandhi National Open University has the good fortune to have here with us Professor M.S. Swaminathan, Honorable Member of the Rajya Sabha and Chairman M.S. Swaminathan Research Foundation, as one of its guiding spirits to deliver the keynote address this morning. Professor M.S. Swaminathan is the father of the Green Revolution in India. As Director General of the Indian Council of Agricultural Research and Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, he initiated a number of research and innovative programs in the field of agriculture. He has readed a number of international communities and commissions, including Chairman FAO Council, President International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, President Worldwide Fund India, Chairman Commonwealth Expert Group and Board of Trustees, Chairman of the Regional Steering Committee for the India-Bangladesh Joint Project on Biodiversity Management. Professor Swaminathan is a recipient of a number of international and national awards and degrees. The MS Swaminathan Foundation is also actively associated in the community college scheme of the university. It is a matter of honor for us that Professor Swaminathan has accepted our request to deliver the keynote address on this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, do join me in giving a very warm round of applause as I invite Professor Swaminathan to kindly address the gathering, please.
The visionary Minister of State for Human Resource Development, Srimati Purandeshwari, the dynamic Vice Chancellor Vigyan, Professor Rajshekharan Pillai, and leaders of the community college movement, and ladies and gentlemen, I am most grateful to the Vice Chancellor for asking me to be here on this happy occasion when you are launching additional programs of this community college. The Vice Chancellor has already mentioned about the community college elsewhere in the United States particularly. I have had the privilege of visiting some of them. I think the US, one of its great strengths is at the level of the community. They have community colleges, they have community radio, which is very powerful, local radio station, and community foundations also, which look after the immediate needs and so on. I think we should also, I think the community college movement also will, I hope, trigger many more community activities through either the recognized panchayats and nagarpalikas or other methods of. I have 5 brief points which I would like to share with you. First, I think the community college is one method of really launching a more widespread learning revolution of a country. I call it a learning revolution, not a teaching revolution, because the community colleges, unlike formal institutions, should really strive to create a learning environment both from nature, from the rest of the community, and also from the formal education system. They have that kind of flexibility, and I think they fulfill many requirements we now find are the urgent needs of our education system. Some of them have been mentioned by the Knowledge Commission. First, our government policy is well known. Social inclusion is the bottom line. Social inclusion in education means access to education. There is also going to be legislation now on the Right to Education Act. So first principle of social inclusion, which community college will be a very important instrument, educational tool for achieving this purpose. How do you combine? The other aspect is how do you combine purely numbers and also quality of education. This is where I think the IGNO's oversight, the IGNO's ownership, and also the systems I have seen in the write-up, the kinds of committees, the kinds of monitoring systems which you are developing, should ensure both not only expansion in quantitative terms, but also a quality education. The third opportunity which the community college provides is to impart greater degree of social relevance to the curriculum. The social relevance comes from adjusting both your pedagogic methods as well as the curricula, both the generic content and the location-specific content. It is not so rigid as in other formal systems. You have an opportunity to have flexibility in terms of combining some generic aspects of needs of education as well as the location-specific needs of education. The next item is the social involvement is much greater possibility of social involvement in terms of design of the curriculum, not merely in terms of running the college, but in terms of designing the curriculum itself. If we adopt the principle properly, the word community is really used in both in practice and not only in theory, then you have a greater involvement of the community in the design of the curriculum. The pedagogic methods also could be a combination of both literacy and techneracy. Techneracy is a term I coined in 1971 in my address, Princess Leelavati Memorial Lecture at Manasa Gangotri, the University of Mysore, where I said we should also have, in addition to literacy in our country, techneracy means learning the latest technical skills through the method of learning by doing, not by lecturing. In other words, then and we have so many examples today, the Krishi Vigyan Kendra of the ICAR and the agriculture universities is a sort of an institutional expression of how to implement the concept of techneracy or learning by doing in the field. So I think the accreditation by IGNOU of the community colleges and should ensure that there is not only in terms of expansion in numbers but quality also. So let me say the first and foremost advantage I find the community college movement is to ensure that we have much broader coverage of education of our system and also of education which is relevant to social needs. The second point I wish to bring to your attention, so the Board of Management is here, that there is often in our country a very big gap between vision and reality. What is the vision and what is the reality? For example, 30, 40 years ago, Mahatma Gandhi's Naitalim, Zakir Hussain, particularly Zakir Hussain's basic education, were considered to be the methods of choice in our country like ours. But I want to read for you what Dr. Zakir Hussain said, the author of the basic education scheme, in 1958, delivering a lecture under the Sardar Patel Memorial Lecture of the All India Radio. Zakir Hussain said, and I want to quote, "Basic education in our country has been a failure, not because it was educationally unsound, but it was never given a fair trial." I want you to keep it when you have community colleges. A few years from now, we should not start saying the same thing. It was not given a fair trial. We have turned the so-called intellectual book school into a mechanical memory training school and succeeded in making our work school, the basic school, a place for mechanical work. It's very important. Place become mechanical work. The work is extraneously and uniformly prescribed, and there is no semblance of a spontaneous motivation of the child, and he is supremely ignorant of any personal or social purpose behind his work. Work which is mechanical, work in which no mental exertion is involved, work in which one is satisfied with just any result, and there is no constant prodding, urging him to aim at its possible perfection. Work in which there is no self-criticism and no real progress is no sense educative. Schools that have such work are not work schools. Later on, Dr. Zakir Hussain went on saying, "I cannot very well deny the wisdom of learning by experience, but I cannot easily concede the claim to be wise without any real experience." I cannot concede the claim to be really wise without any experience. I think this is where the community college principle is an important one when we say it will expand opportunities for employment, it will merge with the environmental needs and so on. It is important to remember that we should strive continuously, particularly in the early stages of this movement, to ensure that the vision and the reality coincide. The opportunities are great, and we are grateful to the management committee and the Vice Chancellor. Let us all, those who are here, determined to make community college a very memorable and very important development in our educational arena. If you expect some difficulties or deficiencies, nip it in the bud. Let it not grow, let it not affect later on. It is important to nip it in the bud, but not for a few years from now say, "Oh, it has not been a very successful one, so we should now invent a new method." And that is an ongoing exercise. I thank you again for giving me this opportunity to address such a very learned group and wish the movement great success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your most inspiring, thought-provoking keynote address. Honorable Minister of State of HRD, Srimati D. Purandeswari, is not new to IGNOU. As a minister in the previous government, she had been quite helpful in the affairs of IGNOU. Srimati Daggubati Purandeswari has been active in social work right from her college days. She was elected to the 14th Lok Sabha in 2004. She served on the Committee on Food, Consumer Affairs and Public Distribution. She joined the Council of Ministers as Minister of State in the previous government. She has been re-elected to the 15th Lok Sabha and appointed Minister of State in the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege in requesting our Honourable Minister of State, Srimati D. Purandeswari, to kindly give her inaugural address and also inaugurate the community college scheme, please. Please.
Shri Rajshekharan Pillai-ji, most respected M.S. Swaminathan-ji, my colleague from Rajya Sabha, Mabel Rubello, not to forget the first member on the Board of Management, Mr. Sharma, members of Board of Management, Vice Chancellors, learned and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be here amongst all of you, particularly to share my perception on the concept of community colleges. Just to go back to some years ago when Srimati Indira Gandhi, our late Prime Minister, had said, and I quote, "Education should inculcate a lifelong habit of learning, and today this is all the more necessary because the corpus of knowledge is increasing at a tremendous pace," unquote. These prophetic words, which have been uttered almost 3 decades ago, today have gained additional relevance in the context of the more rapid explosion of knowledge. And I am glad that IGNOU, that was established in 1985 by our late Prime Minister Shri Rajiv Ji, and named after his mother and our late Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi, is now striving and working hard to implement her dream plan in spreading education on a wider ranging scale throughout the length and breadth of our country. We all know that the concept of community colleges is of foreign origin with its epicenter in the USA, and the conditions at that point of a time, or the events which were happening at that point of a time, actually contributed to the, not only to the development but also to the continued growth of community colleges. The social and economic climate at that in the 20th century or the earlier 20th century led to vocal activists' demand for a 2-year education alternative to the 4-year higher education institution. Several groups advocated for community colleges in the early 20th century, including students, parents, educators, state universities, and also industrial and business fraternity. Events like urbanization, industrialization, and the growing pace of economic development caused changes in society. And one of the responses of education to the demands of a country in transition was the evolution and the strengthening of the concept of junior and community colleges. Even in countries like the US and the Canada, where it started as peripheral to the mainstream higher education system, people's perception have changed, and the social importance of an associate degree through a formal mechanism has considerably increased. Approximately 44% of the undergraduates in the USA proceed to their higher education or studies through the community college routes. Besides the United States, we all also are aware that these are well rooted in England and Canada and several other countries. In India, the community movement, college movement, has been growing ever since it began in 1995 with the opening of the Puducherry University Community College. The Archdiocese of Madras, Mylapore, was the first non-governmental organization to start a community college, namely the Madras Community College, as way back as 1996. Today, there are 153 community colleges across 17 states. The movement has so far helped 35,000 students, as has been pointed out by the Vice Chancellor, from socially, economically, and educationally disadvantaged groups. Thus, the community college movement, as an innovative system of education aimed at empowering the disadvantaged sections of society, has today become a national phenomenon. The associate degree program launched by IGNOU would, I hope, serve the purpose when we talk about extension of community-driven activities and promotion of the community university system. This much-needed platform expectedly will bring about a paradigm shift in our education system with the perspective of enhancing access and employability. And with these words, I would like to commend the efforts made by IGNOU. I would like to thank them for having given me this wonderful opportunity to be here amidst the intellectual elites, as I would like to call each one of you. And it has been a wonderful opportunity to be here and share some of my thoughts and my perception that I have about community colleges. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for a most wonderful inaugural address. And now I request you, ma'am, to kindly release the community college scheme, please.